I'm happy to welcome you in our YouTube video about the EB-5 program. In this video, we're going to go through the process for the EB-5 program from the start till the end. My name is Varvara Latintseva. I'm with Second Wind EB-5, a third-party promoter working outside the US on promoting the EB-5 projects. Our goal is to provide the best choice of EB-5 projects from the regional centers with proven track records. To start with, what is the EB-5? The EB-5 program is a US government program which allows to receive a green card for the investor and their family members. The investment amount starts at $800,000 US and the investment must create at least 10 new jobs. Before you starting the process, you have to understand if the EB-5 program would be a right fit for you. So, first of all, the EB-5 program is aimed on receiving a permanent residency in the US. Green card. That means that you have to wish and your will have to be to live in the US permanently, and in this case you are becoming the US tax resident and you have to pay taxes on your worldwide income. For many clients, this information actually is stopping their interest in the EB-5, so this is why we start from it. If you find and that's exactly what you want, then the next step would be to understand if you're ready to accept the risks which EB-5 program contains. The program is structured in the way that it's an opportunity, not a guarantee, to receive a green card and to receive your investment back as well. You are investing in the business which is creating jobs in the US. And if something goes wrong with the project, you may lose part of your investment or actually all of your investment. And in some cases, if things went totally wrong, you may even not get a green card. You can significantly reduce your risks, but you cannot eliminate them. Example of the projects you may see on our website to understand what kind of risk you would be facing with EB-5 program. The third one is actually you have to be able to meet the requirements of the EB-5 program. The requirements are not high. You don't need to show any language proficiency. You don't need to have any special education or work experience. Everything you have to show is the absence of criminal records and lawful source of funds. You have to show how and when you earned your initial capital which you plan to invest in the project, and all trace of funds till the moment you invested them in the EB-5 project. For some of our investors, it's taking more than 6 months or 12 months just to do this part. So make sure you're ready for that. If you are not sure that you will be able to provide the documents required for source of funds part, we recommend to do few consultations with immigration lawyers experienced in the EB-5 so they can go with you through the main requirements. Of course, they're not going to check all your documents on this consultation, but somehow from experience we had in the past, 2 consultations was enough for investors to understand if they would be able to provide the required documentation or not. So if you want to relocate to US permanently, you're accepting the risks and able to meet the requirements of EB-5 program, then you're ready to start. To start with EB-5 program, the first thing you need to do is to sign an agreement with immigration attorney. The immigration attorney will help you to put together all your personal documents, the main part of which is actually source of funds documentation. It's important to choose the immigration attorney with experience in EB-5 to minimize your risk of denial in the first step. We recommend to our clients first to start work with immigration attorneys and to move to the next stage of selecting the EB-5 project only when you know when approximately your documentation with immigration attorney would be ready. Why we do so? Because if, for example, you're just starting to work on your documents and at the same time you want to go through the project selection, you may find a project which you love, but your personal documentation would take 6 or 7 months to get ready. And by that time, actually the project can be already out of the market. And you would be very upset and would have to start all the project selection from the beginning. When your documents would be ready, then the next step is choosing the EB-5 project. Choosing the EB-5 project probably the most important step, because if you do it correctly, you will get the funds back at the end of your investment term, and you will get your documents, your green card for yourself and your family. When you do look at the different projects, one of the things you have to pay extra attention at is the regional center track records. We see that when investors started to look for the EB-5 projects, they checking the interest rate, they checking the project type and general description of the project, but they don't actually paying attention on the regional center track records. But the regional center is actually the company which is going to manage your funds and represent your interests in the US. Therefore, you have to pay extra attention, making sure that the team which will be working with your funds have enough experience and knowledge to complete this process and take you through this process from the start till the end. When you're looking at the EB-5 projects, what we do first, we're giving you general marketing information about the project. Based on this information, you choose the projects you like, and then we set up a separate calls with the regional centers where they provide you with all details about the regional center team, about the project itself. After that, you need to receive the project documentation. Some regional center may send it just upon request. Some would require you to fill in questionnaires. In some cases it can be short, in some cases it can be like 5-10 pages long. The project documentation itself consists of 100 up to 600 pages of information. Of course, all information is in English. Some regional centers do translate their materials into the different languages, but majority of them, they don't. So looking at this project documentation, you have to understand what is the market practice, what are these regional center requirements and nuances of the way how they work. And normally it can be very confusing to do for investors, especially for the ones who are doing it the first time. So we're trying to pay extra attention on explaining what kind of documents you received from the regional center, and helping to put the list of requirements which are important for each investors. And after they can compare the project based on these requirements, they put it together with us to make their process of project selection a bit easier. Once you choose the EB-5 project, you're signing an agreement with the regional center. By the way, everything for EB-5 program can be done remotely. You're providing the scanned copies of your documents to the immigration attorney. You are signing all agreements in the scanned copies, and immigration attorney at the end printing out all documentation, put it in the envelope and sending it to the US Immigration Services, the separate office which is called IPO, Investor Program Office, and they will review your application. So the first application for I-5 to 6 petition consists of your personal documentation, the main part of which is source of funds, project documentation, which is provided by regional center. You have to fill in the application form itself, and you have to pay the government fees. The normal immigration attorney do it for you. This envelope with this package of documentation is sent to USCIS by your immigration attorney. After a few weeks after your application is sent, you will get a receipt notice, which would have a separate receipt number, using which you can go to online website of USCIS services and check status of your application. So from this moment, your waiting time is started. The processing time for review of I-5 to 6 application can take anywhere from few months to few years, depending on the type of projects you choose and how lucky you are basically with USCIS reviewing your petition. Unfortunately, there is no way to expedite the process of review for your I-5 to 6 petition, and there is no way to predict exactly how long it's gonna take. During this time, when your application is reviewed, you actually have few options what you can do. The first one, the standard one, is when you wait for decision on your I-5 to 6 application outside of the US in your home country. And once you receive the approval, you go to the US Embassy in your home country, submit application for immigrant investor visa EB-5, receive this immigrant visa, stamp in your passport, and with this stamp you're entering the US and receiving the conditional green card valid for 2 years within a few weeks' time. The other option is when you file your I-5 to 6 petition in the US, and at the same time or any moment after you file your petition, you are applying for change of status in the US. To do so, of course, you have to have an open non-immigrant visa. It works almost with all type of non-immigrant visas. For details and nuances, you better talk with your immigration attorney. But in this case, you will first receive your temporary documents, employment authorization ID, and advanced parole, which would allow you to live in the US, work, and travel internationally. In both options, the result of the first petition I-526 is a conditional green card. Conditional green card is almost the same as the permanent green card, but it does have validity of 2 years only. And during these 2 years, you have to live in the US, you have to pay taxes on your worldwide income, and you just need to wait till this 2 years period would end. And before expiration of these 2 years, you have to file a second petition. The second petition name is I-829 application. And this petition basically stating that you invested your funds in the EB-5 program, you met all the requirements as the EB-5 investor, and the business plan which you provided at the beginning of the process worked well, and that all needed jobs for approval have been created. For regional centers, the proof of the job creation is actually shown in a bit different way. We have a separate video about this topic, and you can check it following the link in the top of this video or in the description below. But anyway, the regional center does provide the necessary documentation, and your immigration attorney put together the application and send it again to USCIS. They issue a receipt notice that they received your application, and based on your expired conditional green card and this receipt notice that you filed your second application, you can live in the US normally up to 4 years. The second application is reviewed also within a few years' time. It can be anywhere between 2 and 5 years. And upon approval of this second petition, you and your family members will receive the permanent green cards. The status is indefinite, but the green card validity term is 10 years. So at the end of these 10 years, you can extend your green card as many times as you wish. And this is actually end of EB-5 immigration process. If you wish, you can actually apply for the US citizenship after 5 years of residing in the US since the moment you received your conditional green card. That was an immigration process overview. From investment perspective, everything will depend on the project you choose for your investment. Different projects have different terms. In some cases, investments are returned in 4 or 5 years. In some cases, they can be returned in 10 years. Or in some projects, you would have a definite investment term for the repayment of your capital. The way the EB-5 program allows you and your family members to receive a permanent residency in the US and provide you a clear pathway to the US citizenship. Our company, Second Wind EB-5, is based outside the US, and we promote the EB-5 projects. Our goal is to provide the best choice of EB-5 projects from the regional centers with the proven track records. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button, and see you in the next one.